There we go again. Now, yes. There we go again. There's the draft. Like, the timer was 2 seconds off. I actually thought I'd get the small intro in and then perfectly into the draft, but no, someone was loading too slow. Either way, my name is HeflaTV. With me is Mr. Whiplash, and we are casting here the JDL 3 Division 2 America. The Argentinians versus the US. And they actually had to replace their 5th player, so it's a slightly new roster for MCSS or the Gs. I hope they get a new team flag and the name and everything soon for the JDL up. Either way, Unicorn just came in. I can't even remember who he replaced. Doesn't matter. They are 1 game down. It is 1-0 for Argentina, and if it's a 2-0, that's what we're about to find out. Let's hop into the draft and see what we get.
Alright, well, let's do that. Well, not really too much to look at in the draft so far, just pretty normal bans. We have Lycan, of course, removed. I mean, who doesn't ban Lycan? I know you have your own thoughts on him, but the teams still feel like he is almost 100% first ban material. Also, Brewmaster out of the picture, and Argentinian rejects removing the Tide Hunter, so they don't want to see that used against them. And, of course, Doombringer, he's out of the picture as well.
Yep, definitely. And by the way, I like our chat. The chat today is just amazing. That's why I actually implemented this moobot command. If you write like exclamation mark the root, it comes doo doo doo.
I'm gonna do that right now, actually.
Oh god, this is yeah. It's one of my little Trollerino commands. Like, it's just amazing. And I promise, if the people really want a bit LOL Storm after the game, I can give you that. That's the easiest thing to do. Either way, we have to look at the draft though, because they pick the Skyrath Mage and the Faceless Void. So the Argentinian rejects, they want like an awesome combo, and the synergy between both heroes is just amazing. You gotta have the Chrono into the Mystical Flare, and that's just crazy. It's crazy just because it's a guarantee full value ultimate for the Skyrath Mage, and that's what makes it so sick. Then again, I actually thought there would be more synergy between, for example, the Scent and the Skyrath Mage in the last game, but unfortunately they didn't go for this combo as I expected, and I was kind of disappointed. Like, the Hoofstomp build of the Centaur, like, I still don't agree with it. I didn't have time to ask in the lobby, but either way, on the other side, we have a really tanky hero, the Bristleback, so it's all bristly. And let's see how tanky he gets in that game. I mean, against magical damage, there might be, yeah, again, a pipe really necessary. And the Shadow Shaman, again, also a hero that comes out so often for obvious reason. So let's see how this goes. Second bun stage.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a few heroes kind of switching sides, so to speak. Argentinian rejects, they had the Shadow Shaman on their team last game. Now they're switching it out for the Skyrath and giving the Shadow Shaman to their opposition. Like you said, Bristleback, a tanky hero being picked up. And looking at some of the second phase bans, I'm not sure I agree with the Ancient Apparition ban, unless I guess maybe the Radiant were a little afraid of him getting picked up as a third pickup, which is certainly possible, but if I were the Radiant, I would actually prefer to have that hero on my team kind of helping out, just because it's one of the better supports, I feel, to help deal with Faceless Void. You put down that cold feet on Faceless Void when he's inside of the Chronosphere, and all of a sudden you kind of have to run around. You're not necessarily dealing the full potential DPS that you want inside that Chronosphere until you get your Black King bar up, which is definitely later on into the game. Still, I'm sure they have other ways of dealing with the hero. Ancient Apparition isn't the only way to deal with them, but just a hero I find works especially well against the Faceless Void.
Yep, absolutely. And wow, now we see Death Prophet, like the push of Death, which is quite interesting because now, I mean, they had to pick it, otherwise that would have meant like Shadow Shaman plus Death Prophet maybe on the other side. That would have been just too amazing. Bristleback in the front lines taking, yeah, zoning pretty much the others out just by applying a lot of Bristle stacks there, and then the Death Prophet plus the Mass Up and what's chipping away all buildings that are in the way. That would have been really a death ball, and you don't want this to happen. We saw what happens if there's a death ball at the TI, and yeah. Either way, now we have a good push against another push, with the only difference that the Death Prophet exorcism damage is a bit slower in comparison to the ward damage. Then again, the wards are stationary. That's the big problem about them. Once they're stumped, you can pretty much like just, you know, run away from them and it's done. While the Death Prophet, those ghosts, for Christ's sake, they chase you till the end of the world. By the way, one more thing. I don't know if you got your microphone enabled in game, but some people there shouldn't be a ticket for JDL. That's why I didn't have it on. But apparently, some people found the lobby or the match ID or something, so they can't hear us in game as casters. So please enable. If you
I
can.
have everything enabled in game. It should be a-okay, man.
Yeah,
Should be
okay,
good.
no, mine was offline because, as I said, JDL free. There is a ticket up. It's already submitted to JD, as far as I know, but it takes some time till Valve implements everything. So, depending on how fast Volvo is, we're gonna have like those games as usual on the JDL tournament page as usual. But either way, as an answer, we have a Vengeful Spirit on the other side. So we have a stun, we have a swap. The swap actually pretty interesting because it's a nice little tool against the chrono. Like if you have really a crucial hero in the chrono, the Vengeful Spirit can time it very well and just, you know, sup you out there. But of course then that mostly ends up in sacrificing the Vengeful Spirit. Then again, it's a hero with a nice strength gain, a base strength gain, so becoming quite tanky just by getting XP. We have of course the stun and source of minus armor plus the nasal goo, which is in combination quite a lot. And of course we have the Vengeance Aura, which is quite insane because it's a percentage scaling, and the Bristleback is also a percentage scaling, which is, yeah, let's see. It's definitely gonna be interesting.
I was looking for that hero that would kind of help out against the Faceless Void. I'm glad to see the Vengeful Spirit. Like you said, Hefla, you just switch people out of there. Great choice. AR will pick up the Witch Doctor, which is, I feel, another hero that synergizes quite well with the Faceless Void. A lot of team fight presence, a lot of sustainability if they get that Voodoo Restoration earlier on. And that's a lot of healing and a lot of sustainability and team fight. Now, coming out for Argentinian Rejects, I have to say, they have a very powerful push lineup. Like if they want a 5-man death ball and just go down that middle lane,
Yeah.
it's going to be really hard to fight into that. I hope we can see more team fight pickups from the Radiant if they're going to deal with this. What else do you really think they need in their lineup to deal with the opposition? This is looking quite scary.
Yeah, like I don't know what AR here is picking. It's crazy. Like I actually wanted to say something already about the second ban stage when they banned the AA. For obvious reason, you just didn't want to have the Ice Blast into the chrono. Like I mean, the goal is, it doesn't matter what Faceless Void you have. If it's a safe lane farming void or if it's a utility void on the off lane, it doesn't really matter. As long as the chrono is standing, all you need is external damage. And they have so many sources already. We have, like if you picture this, like if he actually gets an awesome chrono, let's say 3 targets out, we have -1 target with the mystical flare. That's -1 for sure. We have the Death Prophet, regardless if he's in or out of the chrono, or doesn't really matter, but the ghosts, they don't care about the chrono, they don't stand still, they just keep attacking you. Plus we have the Crypt Swarm and everything. Plus now we have the Witch Doctor, which is just nuts because the Death Ward is just ticking into the chrono. Like now they already started to really try to counterpick things. We have the Shadow Shaman who can at least disable some of those targets, like the Witch Dog, for example, interrupt the Death Ward or hacks the Void inside the chrono. The Bristleback can't really do anything when this is happening. The Vengeful Spirit, I already mentioned the swap, and now the Silencer. The Silencer actually a very interesting pick because now the Argentinian rejects into BKBs. At least one on the Faceless Void, and the Witch Doctor might want to get one as well, unless he's just waiting till the silence is timing out, the global silence, I mean, and I don't know. So it's a nice pick what the Americans try to come up here with. Then again, like if that Faceless Void is snowballing and there's just one of those guys with a potential follow-up behind him into the chrono, this is always -1 or -2, and this is, yeah, I'm really worried about it.
No, I am too. Besides the Bristleback, it's squish central for the American team. Like all these heroes can, be very easily picked off if they're caught out alone. They don't have as many hard stuns as they did in the last match, where they had their Shadow Shaman on their side. They had the Fissure from Earthshaker and then the Ravage from Tidehunter. I guess it's, it's the cast from Witch Doctor, it's the slow, and if they can get a good chrono off from the Faceless Void. So I hope there's a tiny bit more control coming out from Argentinian Rejects in their last pick. I guess they're looking for an offlaner. They can, like you mentioned, put the Faceless Void there if they want. But the lineup's looking solid for them. I wouldn't mind seeing that Faceless Void in the safe lane.
Yep, I'm pretty sure he's gonna end up there, like making this a utility void. I mean, it doesn't really matter in the end because it really matters like what they put into the chrono. But if the Faceless Void is as such already a damage
Whoa.
source, that's also interesting. Now a Slaughter. Okay, I did like out of like 20 possible options here, I did not see the Slaughter coming, not even close.
That's just a hero you don't really see too often in
Not
general.
often. He wasn't even picked at the TI. He's one of those three heroes who didn't get picked.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's think. There's a lot of physical damage from Argentinian Rejects. Let's not forget that Death Ward, as well as Exorcism, the two ultimates from Death Prophet and Witch Doctor, are physical damage. Faceless Ward's a right clicker. So the amplified damage it'll pretty much make Bristleback not necessarily so tanky.
Ooh.
Ooh,
That's actually
Tinker.
interesting, because it's not just a tinker, it's not just counter push, it's not just magical burst and split push. It's also a nice opportunity because if he's going for the Dagon Ethereal Plate, we actually have another tool against Faceless Void, because like if they are following a certain target, he can use it actually on allies to help them. Then again, it might also have a downside because then there is a mystical flare waiting for the guys with the amplifier on top of it. So I don't know, when it comes to those chrono fights and the chrono is coming out on multiple targets, like I would bet my rares on the Argentinian Rejects. But like I like what the US Americans here did. They did a lot of counter picks, a lot of things that can actually ruin Void's day. We have silences, we have disarm, we have swaps, we have disable, etc., etc. So it's sort of all good for them, but they need to disable the Faceless Void, and this is actually gonna be a utility Void, because the Slaughter is gonna be the farmer in a tri line, and they really just want to set up this Void for the chrono, and that's pretty much it. The Slaughter, well, he makes the whole thing interesting because, like, so they don't have to rely fully on the chrono. They actually have something where they can still fight with a Blink Dagger initiation into a stun. A lot of minus armor coming out there as a source, which at least the Faceless Void and the Death Prophet is benefiting from. But I don't know. Let's see how the Slaughter is working out. We're gonna introduce the teams really fast. On the Dire side, Rampage again playing here, this time the Faceless Void. In the mid we have Little Core on the Death Prophet before he was playing the DK. We have Algo Donchin on the Slaughter with the very exotic pick. Awareness playing the Skywrath Mage. I wonder how he's gonna do on that hero. And Merlino on Look at it go.
All right, and over on the other side we have, I believe they are more clutch than a ship stick. They have a player subbing in for them this game, so we'll go over that. But we do have Tinker in the mid lane being handled by Mei. I have a feeling that's their kind of leader as well. Over in
Yep.
the safe lane, we have the farming silencer, Pablo, the Flatmaster. And
Flapmaster.
then helping him out as support, we'll have Seimin on the Shadow Shaman, and then Unicorn Power on the Vengeful Spirit. I have a feeling that's the guy coming in. And finally, Logi1234, he'll be handling that offlane Bristleback, who did pick up the double damage rune in the early stages of the match.
Yep, like, I mean, the double damage rune is all good, but the problem is he can be easily zoned out just by the Skywrath Mage. Like, he's just spamming that Arcane Bolt. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any branches or something, and it scares really nice with intelligence, but he chose to go for the full YOLO Clarity build, so he will just spam that Bristleback as much as he can, and the only thing Bristleback really can do is, like, just stay in range for the experience as much as he can. That's the only thing he's gonna get in that offlane. We have to see how the Faceless Void is doing. Like, the offlaners were actually quite a decisive factor in the last game, because the Tidehunter did horribly on his offlane, while on the other side the Centaur did quite well. I mean, in the end the Tidehunter won, but it was not based on his success in the offlane. That's what I'm trying to say with that. And here the Utility Void, he's also even more interested in XP than the Bristleback, because the Bristleback actually needs farm. This Void here, with the heroes around him, he's really just interested in getting XP. All he wants is level 6 ASAP, and the rest can be done by his team.
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard for him to get EXP. There's a lot of zoning potential from both the Silencer and Vengeful Spirit. I have to say, as a player who plays Void a lot, this is like definitely not going to be a fun game for him. The combined power of Vengeful Spirit and the Silencer, especially if Silencer gets like a kill or two on this Void, his mana pool is actually quite small. And it just, unless you have full mana, it's going to be a nightmare when it comes to these team fights. Especially if we get Nagnum Scepter on top of this Faceless Void. So
now
we
we
could
might
have a
have to
dive
go.
up to top lane. Yeah, there's going to be a stun on him from the Slardar. And a lot of follow-up, lots of body blocking. And there's your first blood.
Yep, definitely. That's exactly what he was afraid of all the time. This time, he really dared. Like, to be honest, his timing was really unfortunate because, like, all the time the Witch Dog was busy pulling those cams and everything, but they got everything they need. They have the sprint on the Slaughter, they have the slow on the Skywrath Mage, and then following we have a Maledict Cask build, which is pretty interesting because usually we see a build coming out that is based around the Voodoo Restoration because it's so strong and so awesomely scaling. Like, the mana you need for it is just a joke. You can spam it even low level and the healing is just amazing. So it's an awesome ability, it scales amazingly. But now in the mid we actually have a go here on the Tinker.
Yeah, they have a lot of DPS available to them. They should be able to pretty much finish him off. And a pretty easy kill overall from Argentinian Rejects. Witch Doctor's the one to actually pick up that kill. So the support's looking to be pretty solid. And it looks like there is other potential action on the map, but nope, just a lot of heroes near each other. But overall, a very nice start for Argentinian Rejects, already up 2-0. Really, the only lane where they're having some trouble is the off lane, but that is to be expected. It's a Faceless Void against Sen.
But he's doing fine. He's absolutely doing fine. He's almost level 4 in 4 minutes. Like, what do you want more against a tri-line? Like, against such a tri-line, especially. Like, the Bristleback in comparison, he just dinged level 2 in 4 minutes. So at the moment we have, like, he has 200% experience lead, pretty much. And that's quite sick.
Yeah, I guess you do bring up a good point, Hefla. And he did pick up an early Poor Man's Shield, which essentially allowed him to fight mono-a-mono with this Vengeful Spirit, which did try to zone him out a lot in the earlier stages, I've noticed, but at this point, it hasn't really worked out too much. They're just going to focus on pulling these creep camps and denying as much experience as possible to the Faceless Void, prevent this lane from getting pushed too far up, and allowing the Silencer to get the farm he needs.
Yep, the problem about the Silencer in a safe lane is that, like, his stacks gain from the Clave of Wisdom passive, it's not that high, because picking up this kill on the Faceless Void, it's very, very hard. At the moment he's going for a Time Walk and a Backtrack build, which is exactly what he needs to do in that lane. All he wants is, like, the jump range on his Time Walk and the Backtrack for obvious reasons, survivability. Like, they have, of course, the Shackles and the Stun, but I don't know, if they get him, it has to be with the initial silence, and then they have to catch him somehow. Maybe now we have this opportunity. The Rasta could eat through and then maybe make a wraparound. I don't know, there's no vision. The Void doesn't know what's happening. Now, we have to go.
He's in a lot of trouble. There's going to be a stun, another shock as well. We'll see the Shackles is used as well on the Faceless Void. Can he get out of there in time? He's so low on health. He uses the salve. Is enough? Oh no! the other shock. At the last second.
Oh yeah.
It's enough, man. They get him.
That's was desperately needed. That especially the Silencer is getting something. The Silencer getting stacks here. Or actually, no, he did not. He was not involved in that kill. That's really unfortunate. He didn't get stuck on this one. This is really, really bad.
He used Curse of the Silent, but I believe he was outside of the experience range. I'm not sure exactly how the Glaives of Wisdom calculates that in, but I believe he was out of the experience range.
No, he was too far away. He should have just, I don't know, tried to run there in range. Like, there is actually a range indicator on. Oh god, they want to go for the Bristleback.
Yeah, can they get him? There's a stun, and there'll be the Malediction follow-up afterwards. It's a lot of burst on him, and yeah, that's enough. Another kill onto this Bristleback. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, he is level 2. 6 minutes, almost 7 into the game. It doesn't matter that he has a point in Bristleback. He just, against the opposition, he's not that tanky.
Yeah, it doesn't help you like against the magical damage. That's the problem. Like those arcane bolts, they are guaranteed hits for the full value. The maledict is by now level 2, as if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is maledict level 2. So if everything is timed, you get the
mid
full.
lane. They're gonna go on Mei once again. It's a blink from the Slardar. He just got
it's
that.
enough.
They get him, man. That was
That's
really
too bad.
smart. I
Like
don't
he
think
had a
they
haste
showed-
run, like it could have worked, like just running away using the bottle, but unfortunately the projectile was just too fast, and the right click of our Death Prophet is quite significant by now because he's going for a standard build at the moment. He had the nulls for oh, do we have maybe a go
Bottom
top?
lane.
Oh, no.
More
This time,
importantly,
no.
bottom lane, we have a smoke from the Void as well as the Witch Doctor onto the Silencer. He pops the silence, but still the cast comes out. He gets him with the stun once or twice. Isn't enough. The one more hit. The Witch Doctor, he's got it. The Silence not enough. And already, 5-1, Argentinian rejects have just taken complete control over the early game.
Yep, that is, I don't know, that's really unfortunate. I mean, he popped the silence and everything. He even used his Midas there just because he was well aware of the fact that he might die there. So he did everything right he could do in that situation. It was really unlucky that, I don't know, the right click of a Witch Dog, who is already level 5, like with all those ganks on the Bristleback and now including the gank on the Silencer. Like the supports, they're really spoiled when it comes to the Argentinians. Like those supports are absolutely happy. Like we have soon a level 6 here on the Skyrife Mage, which is so dangerous because any stun setup or the chrono, which means it is 100% kill. And now we have pretty much the same for the Witch Dog. Like they can go with the utility Void, who is level 6 now, which means chrono is coming right now. They can go for whatever they want. So I don't know. It's looking really dark just for the fact that the supports have the right levels at the moment.
You know what's interesting? I'm looking at the Slaughter's build, and he doesn't have any points in Amplify damage in the early stages. Do you have any thoughts on this? I don't see Slaughter too much, and I'm not too familiar with the hero in general, but is that an ultimate that you generally just don't... Okay, never mind. He picked it up at level 8, just a little bit later.
Yeah, in the mid we just had a kill on the Tinker, and right after, like, that exorcism wasn't even... What the hell?
Whoa. GG being called out very fast.
Okay, we don't even need to comment here.
So earlier on in the game, though, I do...
GG?
Wait,
What?
fake GG?
So what is this?
Alright, so fake GG, they're not actually... Wait.
The ping is too hard, he says.
Well, now he says GG. We don't... I guess it's over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, no,
Yeah,
I actually think it's over. Like I've seen Mei already. I think he was in Team Tiers in the last season of JDL, and like they're pretty fast on the GG call. And to be honest, in this game, I think it was the right call because I think they got outdrafted. Like
Very hard outdraft.
like horribly outdrafted, and with the experience difference and with their laning stage not going through at all. Like, I mean, I just talked about the supports and the chrono, everything being up at level 6. Witch Dog level 6, Faceless Void level 6, Skyrife Mage level 6. From now on, they would have had 100% kill each and every chrono. And even without the chrono, they would have had a perfect setup because they have the Slaughter into Maledict, into Concussive Shot, into the fuck, everything is coming. So, I think this GG call was more or less just justified. But yeah, the Argentinians here, the Argentinian rejects, very nice Dota actually, very disciplined, nice laning and nice drafting. I have to give those guys really credit for the drafts they did. Game 1 and Game 2, solid drafting. They really looked through the strategy of the other team. And yeah, so congrats on the Argentinians and congrats to the chat for everyone who bet on our AR. The Argentinians are the successors. Either way, guys, that's it for us today. There will be more games pretty much soon as the JDL just started, and also HeflaTV is going to pick up some more tournaments in August. So there's a lot more to come. If you like what we do here, then of course follow us on our English channels, HeflaTV 1 and 2. There will be always, of course, the English coverage. If you're German and happen to be here in this chat, of course, you can follow, of course, on HeflaTV 3 and 4. And even new now in July, HeflaTV is actually going into the Romanian scene. We have Romanian casters, and they're also going to start work pretty much soon here for the label. If you're Romanian, happen to be in the chat, then follow HeflaTV 5 and 6. That's pretty much it. All the information are below the stream, and of course follow us on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. The VODs will be up within, okay, depends how fast I am, and I'm really slow with that stuff. So in about an hour, There will be the votes up for this game, so if you want to share the success of the Argentinians here, then of course feel free, subscribe on our YouTube, that helps us immensely. You don't need to donate or anything like that, but like every follow button helps us immensely. Either way, last words, Whiplash, where can people find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Whiplash. And also, I have a Facebook fan page. It's Whiplash Esports. So if you got a Facebook, if you got a Twitter, feel free to follow me. I always post, well, generally I post whenever I'm doing some type of casting, anything Dota related. That's pretty much what I handle nowadays. And just shout out to Argentinian Rejects. They had some uncommon carries with both the Slardar and the Abaddon pickups, but they worked out quite well.
Yep.
At least in the short second game we had, in the longer first game, they did quite well. So actually, first time casting these guys, but I have to say I'm kind of becoming a fan of them, and I can't wait to see more of them in the future.
Yeah, we definitely will see. And that's it for us, guys. For Whiplash, it is the mid of the day, so he's planning on his afternoon. For me, it's really about time to sleep. It's 6 or 6:30 here in Europe. Either way, I'm saying good night and have fun, everybody. See ya pretty much soon here on HeflaTV. Was nice to be with you, and a lot of copy pastarino, chattorino, and the root is coming right now. See ya in a bit. See ya soon.